We're right back with you, right here on Good News Community Radio, right here with Lizanne Hatting. Thanks for listening. Now, she's the author of the book Loved by Grace, Toward a Graceful Purpose. And especially during this campaign, the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which begins on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. That's on the 25th of November and runs through to the International Human Rights Day on the 10th of December to raise awareness and inspire action to combat gender-based violence. And we're so privileged to host Lizanne, especially being a survivor activist herself. Lizanne, you also conducted speaking engagements at different places?
Yes, I did. I've been so privileged to speak at various different churches. I was at the Umhlanga Women Achievers Association for one of their networking events. I've also had the privilege to address teenagers on their self-worth and making the right choices. And I must say I enjoyed addressing the teenagers. That was very challenging, but so rewarding. And I think it's very necessary to educate the teenagers as to healthy decision-making.
With the teenagers, do you maybe visit the schools or?
Not yet, but I would love to visit the schools. And part of those visits would be to assist the teachers in identifying children who are undergoing trauma and assisting the teachers by telling them or educating them as to how to handle trauma in the classroom and who to refer them to for further assistance. Because often a teacher is the first person who notices the trauma outside of the immediate home environment.
Right. In some of your speaking engagements, you addressed church congregations and...
Yes, I've been to, as I said, various churches where I addressed the support systems of those who have been in abusive relationships, such as the family and the friends. Often a support system does not know how to support someone who is in an abusive relationship or who has just stepped out of an abusive relationship. And our family and friends are incredibly important sources of support. So we need to educate them as to how they can help us.
I can maybe just read a review from Reverend Peter Wessels, the minister at St. Olive Church. And he writes, Lizanne Hatting has sensitively and clearly told a story of an abusive and destructive marriage in a beautifully written and practically helpful book titled Loved by Grace, Toward a Graceful Purpose. She recently did an engaging and heartfelt presentation by way of question and answer at St. Olive Church in Musgrave. 63 people were present and many were greatly helped. Lizanne's experience and acquired practical knowledge, as well as being a single mother raising 3 children, will assist women who sadly find themselves locked into abusive and difficult marriages. Through a book and presentation, she is also able to give practical guidance to those who are seeking to provide a support system to the abused person, whether as parents, grandparents, or friends. I highly recommend her book as well as in-person presentation. Many more reviews from attendees to these different engagements where you've shared your story and helped them through. So coming back to your book, when we think of someone going through an abusive relationship and they're in the relationship, how will you recognize the symptoms of trauma?
Trauma affects everything about your life, and it is helpful to know the signs of trauma. I didn't know the signs of trauma, so I had no idea that I was going through trauma. It's only upon looking back and through all the research that I've done that I've been able to learn more about trauma. Physical symptoms of trauma may include things such as problems digesting food, tiredness, hyperventilation, headaches, dizziness. Emotional symptoms of trauma may include feeling extremely vulnerable most of the time, panic when the memory of an event is triggered. Insecurity, feeling violated, self-doubt, and feeling helpless and powerless. Behavioral symptoms of trauma may include withdrawing socially. Remember, your self-worth has been removed, so you don't want to engage with other people because you don't know how. You may also be restless. You may also turn to substance abuse because you don't know how to cope. Then there are mental symptoms of trauma. The mental symptoms of trauma may include flashbacks, nightmares, poor concentration, and absent-mindedness.
Now, one can be actually going through it and maybe just suppress all this.
Absolutely. That's what I did. That's the only way that I could survive, was suppressing my feelings, telling myself over and over and over again that I am okay, everything is fine. But it wasn't.
So how did you break away? What gave way? When did you start to know that now you need help yourself?
I don't know how to answer that question, Venora. My eyes were closed to what was happening for a very long time. And even though I had stepped away from God, looking back, He had never stepped away from me. And I think He started opening my eyes. He placed people in my life who started praying for me, unbeknown to me. And I know that my parents were praying for me the whole time. And I truly believe that it is their prayers that started opening my eyes to the absolute desperation of my situation. And I don't know where I found the courage to actually escape eventually, because that was brave. And I didn't feel brave. But by then I had realized that I deserve more. I deserve to be respected by a respectable man. My chief object was to keep my children safe, and I was starting to doubt their safety because my own safety was in jeopardy. And it's as if a cloud was just lifted from my eyes, and I woke up the one day realizing, okay, now I have to do something about this. I don't know what, I don't know how, I don't know who is going to help me, but something has to change. And that was the start of my leaving the situation and the start of my healing as well, because I realized something is wrong. I don't know what, but something is wrong, and I do need help, and it is time to ask for help. That is so important. You cannot do this by yourself. You need a support system to help you get out and start again.
Talk to us a little about those assisted resources and support groups.
There are so many organizations out there that are ready to help. Existing NPOs, churches, counselors, the Jess Ford Foundation, A Heart to Help. There are trauma centers. There are so many more places that can help. Safe houses for women. The Lighthouse in KZN is a very valuable resource. There are trauma centers, such as the Open Door Crisis Center, which also has a safe house for women and children. Lives with a Purpose is another trauma center that offer nationwide help in various different forms. And I'm actually starting to work quite closely with them to be able to refer people to valuable organizations that are able to offer the help that you need. But the most important part is to ask for help, because you do need it, and you are worth helping.
There is a part in your book under the same topic about your practical emotions and trauma. What to do when we identify that we are traumatized. It's on page 116.
Yes, it can be hard to know what to do. The first step is knowing that you are traumatized. I think the big thing there is be careful of using substances, because that is a quick temporary relief from your own emotions, but you are just suppressing your own emotions. You need to deal with them. So do not go to substances to make you feel better. Rather, talk to someone. Talk to someone that is willing to listen. And if you're not able to talk, just say to someone, look, I just can't be alone right now. I just need someone to hold a safe space with me. That is very important. Find your safe person. Routine is important. Do the healthy things. And another big important thing is don't make big life decisions until you know that you are in a better space to be able to make clear and well-informed decisions.
I noticed that I think it's your first point there, you say that if you find that talking about your traumatic experience is too triggering, you may choose to write about your feelings instead.
Absolutely. In the book, I have included under part 3 a journaling space because I have realized how important writing is. I was not able to talk about my emotions, and writing became very cathartic. It was healing because no one ever had to read it in the beginning, and it's a very good way to just get it out of your system, because it's trapped in your system, all those thoughts and feelings, and they're not going to go away. So writing is a helpful way. Even if you live close to the beach, go to the sand, dig a hole, put all your pain in your mind into this hole. You can actually take your hand and say, here is my feelings of worthlessness. Put it in the hole. Put all that negative stuff in the hole and then cover it up. That's another symbolic way of trying to help yourself. It's very important to do that.